So today, we're diving into a really fascinating collision. You've got the ancient art of jewelry making, right? And it is crashing headfirst into the super modern world of 3D printing. And stuck right in the middle, you've got patent law, a system that was designed for a physical world, and it is scrambling to keep up with the digital age. To really get your head around the sheer scale of this change, just think back to the music industry and how it totally freaked out over MP3s. This quote, it just nails it. A physical object, something that was once protected just by being, well, physical, can now be boiled down to a digital file, a blueprint. And that blueprint can be copied and shared a million times over, just like a song. And that, right there, is the heart of the problem we're digging into. All right, so here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at how 3D printing is shaking up the jewelry world. Then we'll get into the legal headache these digital blueprints are causing. We're going to ask the big question, who's actually breaking the law here? Then we'll check out the tools designers have to protect themselves, try to navigate the messy global patent system, and finally, we'll think about what all this means for the future of making things. Okay, let's start with the revolution itself. For literally centuries, making jewelry was something only highly skilled artisans could do. But now, technology is completely rewriting the rules of the game, opening up a whole new age of possibilities. Look at what this tech brings to the table. We're talking about these incredibly complex, intricate designs that you could never, ever make by hand. Designers can now mock up a new ring in a few hours, not a few weeks. You, as a customer, can get something that's truly one of a kind, totally customized. And maybe the biggest thing, it's democratizing the whole field. You don't have to be a master craftsman anymore. If you've got a great idea and the right software, you're in the game. Okay, but all this cool innovation, it comes with a huge legal headache. So to make this really tangible, let's just walk through a simple, made-up story, the case of the copied ring. And look how frighteningly simple this is. A designer creates something beautiful, and they do the right thing, they patent it. But then, a competitor just scans it or models it on a computer, and boom, they've got a digital blueprint, a CAD file. That file goes up on a website, and suddenly, anyone, anywhere in the world with a 3D printer can download it and print a perfect, illegal copy. The physical became digital, and then it became physical again. And that, my friends, leads us to the billion-dollar legal question. Where exactly did the crime happen? Was it when the CAD file was made? Or when it was sold online? Or did it only happen at the very end, when that physical ring actually came out of the printer? See, patent law was written to protect physical things. So this digital file that's just one click away from becoming that physical thing, well, it creates this massive legal gray area. So if you're the designer of that ring, who do you sue? The whole problem is that the act of making isn't happening in one factory anymore. It's spread out all over the internet, and trying to track down the culprit can feel like you're chasing a digital ghost. Just look at the lineup of potential suspects. You've got the person who actually created the file. You've got the website that's hosting it. You might have a company that's selling the file. And then you have the final person, the customer at home, who literally just pressed print. They all have a hand in it, right? But trying to pin the legal liability on just one of them, that's where it gets super tricky. Now, you might be thinking, well, just sue the person who printed it. But this is where reality kicks in. Can you imagine a big brand suing hundreds or even thousands of its own fans and potential customers? It's not just a logistical nightmare. It's a public relations disaster waiting to happen. The music industry learned that lesson the hard way. Now, legally speaking, the person who prints the ring is the most obvious culprit. This is what the law calls direct infringement. They are, without a shadow of a doubt, making the patented invention. But, as we just talked about, they're also the hardest and honestly the worst target for a lawsuit. So that brings us to this idea of indirect infringement. This is all about going after someone for encouraging the illegal act. So if you sell a CAD file of a patented design and you know people are going to print it, you could be on the hook for inducing infringement. The big challenge for lawyers, though, is proving you intended for that to happen. And then there's a third flavor, contributory infringement. This is when you sell a crucial component of a patented invention. But this throws us right back to that fundamental mind-bending question. Is a digital file, just a string of ones and zeros, really a component of a physical, solid ring? The courts are still battling over this one, and the answer, well, it could change everything. Okay, so with all this chaos, what can a creator actually do? Let's take a look at their IP shield, the toolkit that designers have to try and protect their work in this wild new world. All right, first things first, you got to know the difference between the two main types of patents. A design patent protects the unique look of something, its ornamental shape, the way it's decorated. A utility patent, on the other hand, protects how something works, like a brand new kind of clasp for a bracelet. For most jewelry, let's be honest, it's all about the look, which makes design patents the go-to tool. And this chart just lays it all out, plain and simple. Just look at the numbers. Design patents are usually faster to get approved, they're cheaper, and, this is a big one, they have a way higher allowance rate. We're talking over 84%. For a designer in a fast-paced world like jewelry, those advantages make it a much more practical choice. But patents aren't the only play here. Smart creators use a layered defense. Copyright can actually protect the CAD file itself, treating it like a piece of digital art. And of course, trademark protects your brand, your logos, your name, the stuff that tells people this is an authentic, quality piece. Now, just when you think you've got a handle on it, we throw in another layer of complexity. Because you know what? The internet doesn't care about borders, and that creates a massive, confusing, global patent maze. So get this. Here's the nightmare scenario. Some company in a country with weak IP laws starts selling the CAD file for your patented ring. A customer in your own country, where your patent is totally valid, buys that file and prints the ring. The sale happened in one country, but the illegal making happened in another. So who do you go after, and under whose laws? It's a legal mess. And this is where things get even more technical and, frankly, a little weird. The European Patent Office, for example, has set a really high bar. They're basically saying that for a digital file to be breaking the rules, it can't just define the shape of the thing. It has to have specific operating instructions that actually control the 3D printer. And you guessed it, this creates a huge potential loophole. Now a competitor can sell a generic 3D model, like an STL file, that just has the geometry, just the shape. And they can argue, hey, we aren't providing the specific instructions to make it. That's up to the user's own printer software. It makes stopping the flow of these digital blueprints across borders incredibly difficult. All right, so where does all of this leave us? Well, it all comes down to a fundamental clash at the heart of this entire issue, the battle between atoms and bits. Let's be really clear about this. Our entire patent system was built for a world of physical things, of atoms you can actually hold in your hand. But 3D printing? It lives in the world of digital information, of bits that can be copied endlessly and beamed across the planet in a split second. And this technology is forcing all of us to ask a really basic question: what does it even mean to make something anymore? And that's the final thought I really want to leave you with. When a digital blueprint can become a physical object with just a single click of a button, where does creation truly happen? Answering that question is the great challenge for inventors, for designers, and for the law itself in the 21st century.